In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the maximum and a minimum of a vector. To do that, you're going to need some vectors, and I've got 3 loaded up here, x, y, and z. They all have 5 elements in them. You'll notice z's last element is missing. I put an NA in there because I just want to show you what happens with that. Now, as far as trying to find the minimum of a vector, you just use this min command and throw in the vector you want, and it'll come back and it'll tell you the minimum in that vector x is 4, which is absolutely the case. And then if you want to know what the maximum is, you can use the max option, which will tell you the maximum is 10. Now, if you do have a vector that's got a missing value in it, this might happen if you have a data frame and you're missing a value in a particular column someplace, you may or may not want it to calculate the min or max based upon knowing that that missing value is there. Sometimes you want it to take that into account, sometimes you want it to ignore it. By default, what R will do is if it notices that there is a missing value in there, when you tell it to find the max or the min, it'll come back with not available because it doesn't know what the max and min really are since that number is missing. But you can tell it to ignore any missing values by using this command or this argument na.rm. When you run that, it'll give you the maximum or the minimum of the existing values. So it'll ignore that the NA is there. Now what you can also do as far as max and mins is you can get pairwise maximum and minimums. So I'm looking at the vectors x and y here, and I might want to go down pair by pair and find out what the maximum values are going pair by pair. So I can use this pmax option. And so in this particular case, if I use pmax, it should go through the first 2 values, give me back a 9, the next 2 values, give me back a 10, the next 2 values, give me back a 7, the next 2 values, give me back a 10, and then finally give me back a 4, because it's looking pairwise for maximums. And that's indeed what it does. I can do the same thing with the pmin, and it'll give me the minimum of the 2 numbers there. There is, if you take a peek over here, still options for what to do if there's missing values or not missing values in there. If there's NAs, do you want to remove them and ignore them, or do you not want to ignore them? So that's something to be aware of there. And then one other option that's just not showing up over on this page here, it's someplace else, is there's this command called which max and which min. What this does is it doesn't tell you the value of the largest number or the value of the smallest number in your vector. It tells you the index of that largest value or that smallest value. So if I use this which max option, what will happen if I use it on vector x? Well, where's the maximum? It's actually in the 4th position, so this should return 4 to me, which it does. And when I use which min, it should return the position of the smallest value to me. And it returns back 1. It returns back the first index where you get the smallest value. So even though there's 2 4s in there, the first time it shows up is in the 4 spot or in the number 1 spot. So that's what it brings up. Okay, so that's how you can find a max and a min.